Welcome back to our channel. Today we unravel the captivating story of Clark Gable, often hailed as the King of Hollywood. Known for his commanding presence, charming demeanor, and iconic roles on the silver screen, Gable's life was as dramatic off-camera as it was in his legendary performances. From a tumultuous childhood shaped by loss and resilience, to a career built on ambition, charisma, and no shortage of controversy, Gable's journey is a fascinating tale of triumph and tragedy. Along the way, he formed passionate relationships, endured heart-wrenching losses, and left an indelible mark on Hollywood's golden age. But behind the fame and allure lies a web of secrets and scandals, some of which may surprise even the most dedicated fans. Join us as we delve into the hidden truths, legendary romances, and enduring legacy of Clark Gable in Clark Gable's Cover-Up. Clark Gable's life began with an extraordinary twist, one that seemed almost a foreshadowing of the complex and larger-than-life figure he would become. Born as William Clark Gable on February 1, 1901 in Cadiz, Ohio, his birth certificate, rendered nearly illegible by the doctor's handwriting, mistakenly listed his gender as both male and female, a strange and unique detail in the story of Hollywood's future king. While this mix-up might be dismissed as a minor clerical error, it hints at the chaotic and unpredictable life that awaited him. The first months of Clark's life were marked by tranquility, but this peace was heartbreakingly short-lived. His mother, Adeline Hershelman Gable, passed away when Clark was just 10 months old, leaving an indelible void in his young life. The loss of a mother at such an early age often creates ripples of emotional and psychological challenges, and Clark's father, William Gable, was left grappling with the immense responsibility of raising a child alone. The family's religious divide added another layer of complexity. His father was a staunch Protestant, while his late mother had been devoutly Catholic. This ideological clash created tension, with William resolutely refusing to raise his son in the Catholic faith, despite it being his late wife's wish. Eventually, William Gable made a decision that would shape Clark's future in profound ways. Recognizing the need for a nurturing maternal presence, he remarried. This choice proved to be transformative for young Clark, as his stepmother, Jenny Dunlap, would become a pivotal figure in his development. Unlike the stereotypical portrayal of stepmothers in tales of old, Jenny was nothing short of a godsend. She approached her role with genuine care and dedication, ensuring that Clark received not only material support, but also the cultural and intellectual nourishment necessary to thrive. Jenny's influence extended far beyond providing a stable home. She emphasized the importance of education, ensuring that Clark was well-dressed and impeccably presented, a skill that would later become a hallmark of his public persona. But perhaps her most significant contribution was introducing Clark to the world of literature, particularly the works of William Shakespeare. This early exposure to the bard's timeless tales of ambition, love, betrayal, and resilience undoubtedly left an impression on young Gable, planting seeds of charisma and drama that he would later channel into his acting career. Despite the stability Jenny provided, life in the Gable household wasn't entirely smooth. Financial difficulties and the lingering pain of loss meant that Clark's childhood was tinged with hardship. However, these challenges likely instilled in him a resilience and determination that would serve him well in the competitive world of Hollywood. In many ways, Jenny's guidance helped lay the foundation for the polished, charming, and ambitious man who would eventually captivate audiences around the globe. It's remarkable to think that behind the iconic mustache, the suave suits, and the commanding presence on screen, there was once a boy whose life began with tragedy and uncertainty. Jenny Dunlap may not have shared his blood, but her role in shaping the future king of Hollywood cannot be overstated. This chapter of Gable's life reminds us that even the greatest legends start as vulnerable, uncertain individuals. And for Clark Gable, the lessons of his childhood, loss, resilience, and the value of education would become the building blocks of an extraordinary life. Clark Gable's journey to Hollywood immortality was anything but smooth. At just 17, he found his passion for acting, a discovery that sparked a dream far removed from the modest life he knew. But like many aspiring stars, the path to success was fraught with obstacles. Financial hardship gripped his family, and any hope of pursuing a career in the arts seemed impossibly out of reach. Adding to this adversity was a deeply personal loss: the death of his stepmother, Jenny Dunlap, at the age of 46. Her passing left an emotional void and marked the end of a pivotal chapter in Gable's life. In the wake of this tragedy, Gable had no choice but to set aside his dreams and join his father working in the oil fields. The work was grueling and uninspiring, but it became clear that Gable's ambitions could not be contained by this life of toil. His determination to achieve something greater became a driving force. Seeking a fresh start, he left the oil fields behind and ventured to the Pacific Northwest. It was there that fate intervened. While working, Gable crossed paths with a fellow laborer who noticed his potential and encouraged him to reignite his passion for acting. This colleague introduced him to Franz Dörfler, an actress who would play a pivotal role in shaping the next stage of his life. Their shared love for the theater blossomed into a personal and professional partnership. They became engaged and joined a traveling theater troupe, immersing themselves in the world of performance and storytelling. However, the turning point came when Dörfler introduced Gable to acting coach Josephine Dillon in Portland, Oregon. Dillon immediately recognized Gable's raw talent and saw potential beyond his rugged exterior. Her dedication to refining his skills went beyond typical mentorship. She meticulously guided him in diction, posture, and even personal grooming to transform him into a polished and marketable actor. Their professional relationship soon became deeply personal. Gable ended his engagement to Dörfler and married Dillon, a move that would define much of his early career. Though she was 17 years his senior, Dillon's unwavering belief in his potential became the cornerstone of his Hollywood journey. She relocated Gable to Los Angeles and founded a small theater company as a launching pad for his career. Her influence extended to the point of altering their marriage certificate to reduce their age gap, reflecting her commitment to protecting his image. Gable's early years in Hollywood were marked by strategic alliances, ambition, and a willingness to navigate murky waters. His marriage to Dillon was as much a partnership of convenience as it was a personal relationship. With her guidance, he began to refine not only his acting craft, but also the persona that would soon captivate audiences. However, Gable's drive to succeed led him to pursue other romantic and professional connections, often blurring the lines between ambition and relationships. This era of his life paints a picture of a young man grappling with the complexities of ambition, love, and the sacrifices needed to achieve his dreams. While these years were tumultuous, they also laid the foundation for the charismatic, determined, and sometimes controversial figure Clark Gable would become. It's a story of grit, reinvention, and the relentless pursuit of a vision, a narrative that resonates as much today as it did in Hollywood's golden age. Clark Gable's ascent to the pinnacle of Hollywood was marked by both unrelenting ambition and a tangled web of personal relationships. After navigating the hardships of his early career, Gable's determination paid off with a film contract at Pathé Pictures, which opened the door to opportunities that had once seemed out of reach. His time at Warner Brothers solidified his growing reputation, but the turning point came when MGM, the studio synonymous with Hollywood glamour, recognized his star potential and signed him to their illustrious roster. It was at MGM that Gable's career truly began to flourish. His first major break as a leading man came when he starred opposite Joan Crawford in Dance Fools Dance. The film not only showcased his rugged charm and magnetic screen presence, but also sparked a real-life affair with Crawford. Their chemistry was undeniable both on and off screen, capturing public attention in a way that blurred the line between fiction and reality. However, the scandal surrounding their relationship became a liability for MGM, threatening to tarnish their carefully crafted public images. MGM's response was as strategic as it was effective. In an effort to cool the flames of controversy, the studio cast Gable opposite Jean Harlow in Red Dust. The gamble paid off spectacularly. Gable and Harlow's sizzling on-screen chemistry enthralled audiences and cemented his status as a leading man. The duo's pairing became iconic, creating a legacy that would define Hollywood's golden age. Meanwhile, Gable's personal life remained as eventful as his professional one. His first marriage to Josephine Dillon, the mentor who had played a pivotal role in launching his career, ended in divorce in 1929. Gable wasted no time moving on, marrying Maria Langham, a wealthy socialite whose fortune provided him with financial stability as his career gained momentum. Yet, like his previous marriage, this union was more pragmatic than romantic, serving as another stepping stone in his relentless climb to stardom. Despite his personal entanglements, Gable's talent and charisma continued to shine. His crowning achievement came with It Happened One Night, a film that would not only secure his place among Hollywood's elite, but also earn him the Academy Award for Best Actor. Gable's portrayal of a quick-witted reporter in this romantic comedy captivated audiences and critics alike, proving his versatility and solidifying his reputation as one of the industry's brightest stars. Throughout his career, Clark Gable was often compared to some of Hollywood's most iconic leading men, but his unique charisma set him apart. While Rudolph Valentino, the silent film heartthrob, captivated audiences with his exotic allure, Gable brought an unmistakable ruggedness that resonated with the everyday man. Gable wasn't just a romantic idol. He embodied a broader spectrum of masculinity, confident, assertive, and deeply relatable. Unlike Valentino's polished elegance, Gable's charm came from his authenticity and his ability to balance strength with vulnerability. These qualities cemented his status not only as the king of Hollywood, but as a symbol of American identity during the golden age of cinema. The success of It Happened One Night marked a turning point in Gable's career. No longer just another handsome face, he had become a bona fide star whose performances resonated with audiences across the globe. Yet beneath the surface of his rising fame lay the complexities of a man who balanced ambition with a turbulent personal life. His relationships, whether fueled by passion or pragmatism, often played a significant role in shaping his trajectory, adding layers of intrigue to his already captivating story. One of the most complex and controversial chapters of Clark Gable's life unfolded during the filming of The Call of the Wild in early 1935. His co-star Loretta Young became pregnant during the production, reportedly after a brief romantic encounter between the two. On November 6, 1935, their daughter Judy Lewis was born in Venice, California. However, in an era when Hollywood fiercely guarded its stars' reputations, Young devised an elaborate plan to hide her pregnancy. 19 months later, she claimed to have adopted Judy, successfully concealing the truth from the public for decades. Though many in Hollywood suspected Gable was Judy's father, given their striking resemblance and the timing of her birth, it remained an open secret. Gable never publicly acknowledged Judy as his daughter, but he reportedly visited her briefly in 1950, asking about her life before leaving with a kiss on her forehead. At the time, Judy had no idea that Gable was her biological father, and this encounter would be their only interaction. As an adult, Judy struggled with feelings of isolation and alienation within her own family, sensing there was more to her story. 5 years after Gable's death, Judy confronted Loretta Young, who admitted the truth. Gable was her biological father, the result of an affair during the filming of The Call of the Wild. Decades later, Young's posthumously published autobiography confirmed Gable's paternity. In 2015, a more troubling claim emerged. Young's daughter-in-law alleged that Loretta had once described Judy's conception as the result of non-consensual relations during a date with Gable. While this claim has never been officially corroborated and remains a matter of speculation, it sheds a darker light on this already complicated story. Judy Lewis passed away in 2011 at the age of 76, leaving behind a legacy that intertwined with one of Hollywood's most iconic figures. Clark Gable's personal life, though glittering on the surface, was shadowed by profound tragedy that left indelible marks on his soul. In 1937, he starred alongside his longtime friend Jean Harlow in the romantic comedy Saratoga. The two shared a bond that went beyond the confines of their scripts, with Harlow's vivacious personality perfectly complementing Gable's charm. But their time together on set quickly took a heartbreaking turn. Harlow's health began to decline mysteriously, leaving her frail and weak. Often, Gable had to physically support her between takes, a sight that deeply troubled him and those around them. Harlow's condition worsened, and she was eventually hospitalized. Gable visited her, only to be met with the devastating news that she was suffering from acute kidney failure, a diagnosis that offered little hope. Tragically, at just 26 years old, Harlow passed away, leaving Hollywood and Gable in mourning. Her untimely death marked one of the first significant losses in Gable's life, and the grief he carried was palpable. Even as Saratoga was completed with the use of a body double for Harlow, Gable admitted that acting without her felt like holding a ghost. The film became a posthumous tribute to Harlow, drawing fans to theaters eager for one last glimpse of the beloved star. Despite the sorrow, life moved forward, and in 1939, Gable found joy again when he married Carole Lombard, an actress whose humor, wit, and down-to-earth nature matched his own. Their union was a rare blend of Hollywood glamour and genuine companionship. They shared an infectious sense of humor, often playing elaborate pranks on each other, and found common ground in hobbies like hunting. Lombard's vivacious energy and Gable's rugged charisma made them one of Hollywood's golden couples. Yet their fairy tale was not destined to last. In January 1942, Lombard embarked on a war bond tour in her home state of Indiana, passionately raising funds to support the war effort. Tragically, on her return flight to Los Angeles, the plane carrying Lombard, her mother, and her press agent crashed into a mountainside in Nevada, killing everyone on board. The news of Lombard's death shattered Gable. Overwhelmed with grief, he rushed to the crash site, desperate to climb the mountain in search of her. His friends had to physically restrain him, as the wreckage was deemed too dangerous to approach. When the recovery team finally located Lombard's body, Gable's anguish spilled out in a heartbreaking cry. "Oh God, I do not want to go back to an empty house." Lombard's passing left a void in Gable's life that no other relationship could fill. Although he remarried twice after her death, his heart remained forever tied to her memory. He continued to live in the Encino home they had shared, a place filled with reminders of the love they had built together. Lombard's vibrant spirit stayed with him, and many who knew Gable believed he never truly recovered from the loss. Clark Gable's military service during World War II was a profound chapter in his life, showcasing a blend of courage, grief, and patriotism. Inspired by Carole Lombard's unwavering dedication to the war effort, Gable enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces shortly after her tragic death. Despite his Hollywood fame, Gable chose to serve as a combat cameraman, joining dangerous bombing missions over Europe to document the realities of war. His presence on these missions wasn't symbolic. He flew 5 combat missions, risking his life alongside other servicemen. Gable's charisma and leadership inspired the troops he worked with, but his time in the military also left emotional scars, as the rawness of war mirrored the personal loss he was still grieving. Upon returning to Hollywood, Gable was no longer just an actor, but a man who had faced war's realities, adding new depth to his on-screen performances. While Clark Gable is best remembered for his iconic roles on the silver screen, his off-screen life also reflected strong political convictions. A staunch conservative, Gable was a Republican who became deeply involved in Hollywood's political landscape during the mid-20th century. In 1944, he joined the Motion Picture Alliance for the Preservation of American Ideals, a conservative group formed to combat what it viewed as the growing influence of communism in the film industry. The group, which counted Walt Disney, Ayn Rand, Ronald Reagan, and John Wayne among its members, played a pivotal role in creating and enforcing the infamous Hollywood blacklist. This blacklist significantly impacted the careers of numerous individuals accused of communist sympathies, with many forced to testify before the House Un-American Activities Committee. While Gable was not one of the more vocal participants, his membership highlights the complex intersections of politics and entertainment during this tumultuous period in American history. In addition to his political affiliations, Gable was also a Freemason, joining the Beverly Hills Lodge number 528 in California in 1933. His membership in the Masonic fraternity added another dimension to his multifaceted life, reflecting his interest in tradition and camaraderie beyond the glamour of Hollywood. After serving in the U.S. Army Air Forces during the World War II, Clark Gable returned to civilian life with a renewed perspective, but also a yearning for solace. He retreated to his ranch, briefly stepping away from the public eye to recover from the emotional toll of war and the loss of Carole Lombard. Soon after, he rekindled a pre-war relationship with actress Virginia Gray, sparking rumors in the tabloids that she might become the next Mrs. Gable. Professionally, Gable's first post-war film, Adventure, 1946, marked his comeback alongside MGM's leading lady Greer Garson. Promoted with the tagline, "Gable's back and Garson's got him," the film was a commercial success, grossing over $6 million, though it failed to impress critics. Gable found greater acclaim in The Hucksters, 1947, a sharp satire of post-war Madison Avenue corruption, which co-starred Deborah Kerr and Ava Gardner. While the film was a hit with audiences, critics noted issues with its script that limited Gable's screen time. Gable continued to navigate Hollywood's shifting landscape, starring in Homecoming, 1948, with Lana Turner and Command Decision, 1948, a psychological war drama. Although well-received, the latter's expensive ensemble cast left MGM with financial losses. Still, Gable's empathetic portrayal of a general grappling with the morality of sending his men to near-certain death drew praise, with Variety calling his performance both reliable and deeply empathetic. Romantically, Clark Gable's marriage to Sylvia Ashley, a British socialite and former actress, is often seen as one of the more tumultuous chapters in his personal life. They wed in 1949, and at first glance, the union seemed to pair Hollywood royalty with a woman accustomed to the spotlight, as Ashley had previously been married to another screen legend, Douglas Fairbanks Sr. However, the glamour surrounding their relationship masked deeper incompatibilities that would ultimately lead to its unraveling. Sylvia Ashley, known for her love of opulence and high society life, brought an extravagant sensibility to the marriage. Her penchant for lavish parties, extravagant spending, and her desire to remain in the public eye contrasted starkly with Gable's down-to-earth demeanor and preference for simplicity. Gable, a man who found solace in the rugged outdoors and quiet moments on his ranch, struggled to reconcile these differences with Ashley's more flamboyant lifestyle. Their union quickly became fodder for gossip columns, which chronicled everything from their glamorous outings to their escalating disputes. The public fascination with their marriage highlighted the challenges of being in the limelight, as both individuals tried to navigate the pressures of maintaining an idealized image while contending with irreconcilable differences behind closed doors. During their marriage, Gable remained professionally active, appearing in a series of films including Any Number Can Play, 1950, Key to the City, 1950, and To Please a Lady, 1950. While these films were moderately successful, Gable's greatest achievements during this time came with the westerns Across the Wide Missouri, 1951, and Lone Star, 1952, showcasing his enduring appeal as a rugged leading man. By 1952, the strain in their relationship became insurmountable, and Gable and Ashley divorced. While their marriage had lasted just 3 years, it underscored a recurring theme in Gable's life: his struggles to find lasting happiness in relationships following the tragic death of Carole Lombard. Friends and colleagues noted that Gable never seemed fully committed to the marriage, often withdrawing emotionally as tensions mounted. After their divorce, Gable reportedly confided in friends that marrying Ashley had been a mistake. Despite the public spectacle surrounding their separation, both moved on, with Gable focusing on his career and personal passions. For Ashley, the divorce marked the end of her second high-profile marriage, leaving her to contend with her own reputation as a socialite tied to Hollywood legends. In 1953, Gable teamed up with Ava Gardner and Grace Kelly for Mogambo, a reimagining of his earlier hit Red Dust, 1932. Directed by John Ford, the film became a box office triumph, earning $8.2 million and ranking as Gable's most successful film since his wartime return to MGM. Both Gardner and Kelly received Oscar nominations, and while tabloids speculated about a romance between Gable and Kelly, it was later revealed to be a close but platonic friendship. In 1955, Clark Gable married Kay Spreckles, a former fashion model and actress who had been married 3 times before, including to sugar industry heir Adolph B. Spreckles Jr. Kay's charm and resilience seemed to complement Gable's rugged demeanor, and the couple settled into what many considered one of the happiest chapters of Gable's life. Despite the challenges of blending their lives, including Kay's children from previous marriages, their union was marked by a deep bond and shared dreams. Despite these personal struggles, Gable remained committed to his craft. His presence on screen was as magnetic as ever, and his performances continued to draw audiences. However, his final film, The Misfits, 1961, proved to be one of the most grueling undertakings of his career. Directed by John Huston and featuring Marilyn Monroe and Montgomery Clift, the film was shot in the unforgiving heat of the Nevada desert. Gable, at 59 years old, insisted on performing his own stunts including dangerous sequences involving horses. This decision, coupled with the physical demands of the production, took a toll on his already declining health. Just 2 days after wrapping up filming for The Misfits, a film that many would later regard as an iconic piece of cinema, Clark Gable suffered a massive heart attack. At 59, Hollywood's king was still a commanding presence, but the grueling shoot in the blistering Nevada desert and his insistence on performing his own stunts had pushed his body to its limits. Gable was rushed to the hospital, and for a brief moment fans held on to hope as reports suggested his condition was improving. However, just days later, the unthinkable happened. He suffered a second heart attack and passed away on November 16, 1960. The news of Gable's death sent shockwaves through Hollywood and across the globe. Headlines mourned the loss of a man who had become synonymous with charisma, elegance, and the very essence of Golden Age Hollywood. Fans, who had adored his rugged charm and unforgettable roles in films like Gone with the Wind and It Happened One Night, were devastated. Vigils were held by admirers outside MGM Studios and his Encino home, with many expressing disbelief that a legend of such stature could be gone so suddenly. Hollywood's response was equally heartfelt. Co-stars, directors, and producers spoke out, sharing anecdotes about Gable's professionalism, kindness, and humor. Marilyn Monroe, who had worked alongside him on The Misfits, was reportedly inconsolable, describing him as a mentor and protector during the turbulent production. Newspapers worldwide paid tribute, with some declaring that Gable's passing marked the end of Hollywood's golden age. His influence extended beyond the screen, touching the lives of those he worked with and the audiences who saw him as the embodiment of classic cinema. At the time of his passing, Gable's wife, Kay, was 4 months pregnant. The anticipation of welcoming their child had been a beacon of hope for the couple during what had been a demanding year. In March 1961, Kay gave birth to their son, John Clark Gable, a bittersweet moment filled with both joy and sorrow. For fans and the media, the birth of Gable's son was seen as a poignant continuation of his legacy. People speculated about whether John would follow in his father's footsteps, carrying on the Gable name in Hollywood. However, John Clark chose a life far removed from the silver screen. Instead, he pursued a passion for racing, competing in events like the Baja 500 and 1000. Though he initially declined offers to follow his father into acting, he eventually appeared in the 1990 Western Bad Jim. In later years, John Clark dedicated himself to preserving his father's legacy. By 1999, his efforts through the Clark Gable Foundation restored Gable's birthplace in Cadiz, Ohio, transforming it into a museum that continues to draw fans from around the world. John Clark had 2 children, Kaylee Gable, an actress, and Clark James Gable, who gained national attention as the host of the reality TV show Cheaters. Tragically, Clark James passed away in 2019 at the age of 30 due to a drug overdose. This branch of the Gable family tree serves as a poignant reminder of Clark Gable's enduring impact, not only as a Hollywood icon, but as a father whose legacy continues to resonate through his descendants. Clark Gable's passing marked the end of an era, but his legacy continues to shine brightly. Known as the King of Hollywood, Gable left an indelible mark on cinema, thanks to his timeless portrayals of characters who were as charming as they were complex. From the dashing Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind to his comedic turn in It Happened One Night, Gable's performances captivated audiences and solidified his place in film history, yet his legacy extends far beyond the silver screen. Gable's final wish to be laid to rest alongside Carole Lombard speaks volumes about the enduring love story that continues to captivate the public imagination. Their romance, filled with laughter, passion, and heartbreak, remains one of Hollywood's most iconic tales. Gable's contribution to the golden age of Hollywood transcends the roles he played. His larger-than-life persona, both on and off the screen, set a standard for what it meant to be a leading man. He embodied an era of cinema where charisma, talent, and sheer determination could elevate someone to legendary status. Decades after his death, Gable's name remains synonymous with classic Hollywood. His films continue to enchant new generations, proving that true legends never fade. Clark Gable may have left the stage, but his story, his characters, and his legacy will forever be etched in the annals of film history. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life of Clark Gable, a man whose legacy continues to captivate generations. From his rise to stardom to the loves, losses, and controversies that defined him, Gable remains a symbol of Hollywood's golden age. His charm and talent may have graced countless films, but it's the complex, flawed, and deeply human side of Gable that truly makes his story unforgettable. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with fellow film enthusiasts, and subscribe to our channel for more captivating tales of Hollywood legends. Until next time, stay tuned for more untold stories and fascinating journeys from the world of old Hollywood.